Here's a brutal truth most rugby fans won't admit. Sometimes getting demolished 40-0 might be exactly what a team needs before their biggest match of the tournament. Ireland's women's rugby squad finds themselves in this exact paradox as they dust off from their comprehensive defeat against New Zealand and prepare for what could be the defining moment of their World Cup campaign, a quarter-final showdown with France at Sandy Park this Sunday at 1 p.m. But here's where it gets controversial. Was that six-try thrashing by the Black Ferns actually a blessing in disguise? Exeter now represents either the end of the road or the launching pad for something extraordinary. The Irish squad is banking on the latter as they plot what many would consider an audacious upset against Les Bleus. The scoreline against New Zealand, a painful 40-0 whitewash, tells a story that looks devastating on paper.
Yet scratch beneath the surface, and you'll discover something fascinating. This might have been the most valuable defeat in Irish women's rugby history. Scott Beamand and his players had been talking up their chances before facing the Black Ferns. But here's what most people miss. They always had their strategic focus laser-locked on the French encounter. Dating back to their Six Nations clash last March, Beamand was already hinting at this potential knockout confrontation. The reality check? Being held scoreless by a team Ireland had beaten just 12 months prior certainly stings. However, there's a much bigger chess game being played here. Former Ireland hooker Bernard Jackman delivered some hard truths in his post-match analysis on RTE, using a horse racing metaphor that cuts straight to the heart of international rugby hierarchy. There are two Group 1 horses in this race, New Zealand and England, with Canada potentially joining that elite tier. Then you have nations like South Africa, France, and Ireland all desperately trying to break into that top bracket. We encountered a team operating at a completely different developmental stage, Jackman continued. We fell short, we're bruised, but this isn't a tournament-ending blow. Dorothy Wall, the Ireland forward sidelined with an Achilles injury, offers an even more intriguing perspective that challenges conventional rugby wisdom. New Zealand is in the rearview mirror now. It genuinely doesn't matter anymore. And this is the part most people miss. Wall's tactical analysis reveals exactly where Ireland's mindset needs to shift. It's entirely about France now, and the critical questions we must ask. Where are their vulnerabilities, and how can we exploit them? From a tactical standpoint, we surrendered too much possession in physical contact situations. We're a proud rugby nation with a reputation for physicality and standing toe-to-toe with these bigger nations. That pride will fuel our discussions this week. While the psychological wounds aren't expected to derail preparation efforts, the physical recovery presents genuine challenges that could determine Sunday's outcome. The injury report reads like a medical bulletin, raising serious questions about squad depth. Loose head prop Elena Perry, who earned Player of the Match honors against Spain, withdrew late with a knee problem. Fortunately, Niamh O'Dowd has been one of Ireland's most consistent forwards, while Siobhan McCarthy continues making impressive bench contributions. Stacey Flood suffered a particularly nasty foot laceration during a collision with Grace Moore. The fullback's passing range and backfield control make her potentially irreplaceable if she can't recover in time, a loss that could fundamentally alter Ireland's attacking structure. Adel McMahon absorbed a heavy hit before departing early in the second half, and uncertainty surrounds whether the flanker has re-aggravated the knee issue that kept her out of warm-up matches. Meanwhile, Eve Higgins, removed after her gum shield-triggered head injury assessment protocols, appears ready to return, with Fiona Tweet and Enya Breen also expected back in contention. But here's where the selection controversy really begins. The most pivotal decision this week centers on Aoife Wafer. The back row forward has missed 6 consecutive matches with injury, but was observed participating almost fully in pre-match warm-ups before the Black Ferns encounter, strongly suggesting she's nearing match fitness. There was absolutely zero justification for rushing her back for that pool stage tie, but Sunday's elimination match represents exactly where the Six Nations player of the tournament could prove decisive. Expect the first question at tomorrow afternoon's press conference to focus squarely on the Wexford natives' availability. While Brittany Hogan, McMahon, Moore, Tweet, and Claire Bowles have admirably shouldered the workload, the power, pace, and psychological lift that the 22-year-old's return would provide simply cannot be overstated. The statistical reality paints a challenging picture. Ireland has dropped their previous 8 encounters against Les Bleus, who topped Pool D with 3 victories and an impressive 26 tries scored. Yet here's something that might surprise rugby purists. There's genuine belief within the Irish camp that the competitive gap is rapidly closing, thanks primarily to their last 2 contests against these Six Nations rivals. Last spring's meeting saw Ireland trailing by just 2 points with 8 minutes remaining, though France did play 36 minutes with 14 players following Gabby Verneer's red card dismissal. While Les Bleus unleashed their attacking arsenal against South Africa, with scrum half Pauline Bourdon-Sansis delivering a tactical masterclass in their 9-try demolition, their 24-0 victory over Italy in round 1 appeared surprisingly disjointed. Considering France's current trajectory, you couldn't confidently say they're operating at peak strength. Wall observed with characteristic directness. They've appeared incredibly disorganized in recent weeks. Neutralizing Bourdon-Sansis represents Ireland's equivalent of marking Antoine Dupont out of a match. Bemand and his coaching staff will undoubtedly dedicate significant preparation time to this tactical challenge. Restricting the ammunition she can deliver to dangerous backs, Maureen Ménagère and Emily Boulard will fundamentally determine Ireland's upset chances. The Irish squad believes emphatically that a breakthrough performance exists within their capabilities, and following last weekend's consequence-free opportunity, it absolutely must emerge against France. But here's the ultimate question that should spark heated debate among rugby fans everywhere. Is Ireland's devastating defeat to New Zealand actually the psychological reset they needed to achieve the impossible against France? Does Bristol's semi-final stage beckon for this wounded but potentially dangerous Irish side? What do you think? Was that 40-0 loss the wake-up call that transforms them into genuine quarterfinal contenders? Or have they simply run out of road at Exeter? Share your predictions, and let's see who's brave enough to back the underdog narrative. Catch Ireland versus France in the Women's Rugby World Cup quarterfinal this Sunday, starting at 12:30 p.m. on RTE1 and RTE Player, with live blog coverage available on rte.ie/sport and the RTE News app, plus live radio commentary on RTE Radio.